welcome to the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. I am Derek Campbell, sitting in for Kyle Case today, and today I have with me Michelle Graves. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Derek.
How are you?
So happy to be here.
I know, everybody's first time on the radio. It's the best ever.
Yes, should be an interesting show.
Yeah, completely. So everybody in our office, almost everybody except for us, right?
Yeah. How did we get left
behind? And the important staff that's still there.
Oh, there you go. That explains it.
We've got our contingency in Minnesota at the National Senior Games, and it's a biannual event, and it's what everybody qualifies for. So Huntsman World Senior Games athletes, as well as the other 50 states worth of athletes, they qualify for the National Senior Games, and they're going to compete.
Right. And it takes place in a different location every other year, right?
Right.
And they have just under the same amount of athletes that we have?
It's about the same. They're about 12,000 athletes every other year.
Okay.
So we're
11,000 pretty much every year.
Every year.
Yeah, definitely ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
So,
it's exciting.
It is.
They're going to have a really good time there.
I hope so. We've got some of our staff off there for 2 weeks to go have fun, and
we've got to hold down the fort and do the radio show.
Yes.
Huh.
Well, we have this article that we pulled today that was really kind of interesting. So all of our athletes, age 50 and older,
Yes.
they span over 3 different generations.
Yes. And most people don't know that we start as early as 50, which I'm just approaching and really excited about.
Which is kind of fun because all the baby boomers, that huge populace, they're all eligible now.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
So,
I'm getting there. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to, turning 50.
Really? Now you can compete.
That's right. That's right.
Well, there's some characteristics in this article that tell us a little bit about the different generations, and I thought it would be fun to read through just a few of those. So we have the greatest generation, named by Tom Brokaw, people who were born from about 1900 to 1925.
Okay. And we actually have a couple part-time ladies in our office that fit that generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's think and see if they fit the characteristics.
Yeah. If their personality is that. Okay.
There's perseverance in the face of adversity, courageousness, frugal spending habits, and traditional values.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah, they really are.
Those are a good reason to be called the greatest generation, right?
Yeah. Those are things that we could do better at probably in our generation. We could learn from them for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. We have the silent generation next, so about 1926 to 1944.
They never speak.
Yeah, I kind of wonder why they call them the silent generation. Hardworking, logical, loyal, traditional outlook, and clear sense of right and wrong, and conformist. So.
Oh, conformist.
Yeah.
Huh. That was the turn, huh? When they're maybe starting to be more accepting of different values. I don't know. That's interesting.
It is. I don't know a lot of people in this generation. Probably more than I know.
Give us a little. So they were post-World War II? Or what are they?
Known as the post-war generation, the lucky few traditionalists may have grown up during the Great Depression, but generally too young to have served in the Second World War.
Oh, interesting.
So
it is interesting that, your personality traits can be molded by generational trends.
Yeah, it is funny. You've got the baby boomers, 1945 to 1964.
Yeah, see, that's almost me.
Yeah,
just
almost.
missed it.
Independent, competitive, may have more open-minded social values than older generations, focused on health and wellness and value individuality.
Oh, well, that's a good lead-in, because I do believe we're going to be talking about health and wellness today. Yeah, and we are the World Senior Games, so
yes.
We're happy to have all those 3 generations of athletes, but definitely the baby boomers. Huh? Yeah, because I think the baby boomers actually, the women at least, had PE, growing up, which is different than the other generations. So we're starting to see a larger trend in health and wellness, I think, with the younger groups.
Yeah, it is interesting to see. You imagine that people, when they retire, that life changes for them in so many ways, but becoming part of the senior games movement, I see that life changes for them in a different way. They need the activity. They need to stay alive, rather than just retiring and traveling. They need to keep active too, physically active.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, geez, I so look forward to those retirement years where I'll have time to be more active. I mean, I think that's definitely the trend. The older generations are they are go-getters, aren't they? I mean, some of those part-time ladies in our office, they really have a lot of spunk.
Yeah, put us to shame.
I know. I hope I get that energy back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Well, there's another little idea and thought that we had today. Senior people have the same basic needs as at any age. They need to laugh, to have fun, to sing and to dance, to learn and to explore, to play and compete, to get outside and enjoy creation. In short, to live life to its fullest.
Good advice for all of us, isn't it?
It is. It's fun to be part of that, movement. So, well, today, Michelle, we have a special guest on our show.
Yeah, we're excited.
We have Hannah here with us from our Live Well Center, and Hannah Rothlund. So, Hannah, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here.
Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are and what you do, and kind of how that came about.
Well, my role at the Live Well Center at Dixie Regional Medical Center is I'm a kinesiologist, and often people say, well, what's that? Another title is exercise specialist, and my role is to support our older adults in improving their fitness. And that fitness level would be strength and flexibility and balance and cardiovascular fitness.
So how did you get into that?
Well, that is a really good story. Basically, when I was in my early 20s, I was on the track to be a professional outdoor guide. And I was very happy doing that. And one day I was picking up a canoe and got a really serious back injury. And that moved me in the direction of health and wellness, which I've been doing for almost 30 years now.
Wow. So that changed your course as far as even formal education?
Yes, it was an inspiration to, in order to stay active myself, I had to get very fit to support my back. It eventually led to back surgery. And in the process of my own rehabilitation, I really got on fire about the importance of health. And I had already finished a bachelor's degree in physical education, and I went on to get a master's degree in kinesiology from Sonoma State University in Northern California.
Wow. So kinesiology, as you said, is you're helping people to keep moving, physical exercise, things of that nature. Tell us a little bit more about what that is, what you actually do with your clients, and how you keep them moving.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of great programs over at the Live Well Center. It's neat that we have something like that here in St. George.
Well, it's a very unique program and a really amazing program that I'm just delighted to be part of. I moved to St. George just a little over a year ago from Northern California, and to land at the Live Well Center and be part of a model program in our hospital system has been it's been a real honor to be part of that team. So to answer your question, what we do at the Live Well Center is we start off with an evaluation process. And in that evaluation process, we have various options for assessment. And we our most comprehensive assessment process is to measure body composition, which is we have the bod pod, which is the state-of-the-art measuring device. I think Michelle just did that.
Yeah, we have a wellness program at the Huntsman World Games, and I'm the newest employee, so I got to experience it, and I really enjoyed it. It was a fun way to spend a part of a workday.
So in that assessment process, we also look at, we can look at resting metabolic rate. We look at cardiovascular fitness, muscular strength, and flexibility and balance. Once we have been able to have an idea of if someone is interested in being part of our program, then we can put together an exercise prescription, an exercise plan for that adult. And we have classes from 7 in the morning to 7 at night. And the emphasis on our classes are strength training and flexibility and balance.
Okay. So for a lot of people, getting up and getting off the couch is mostly just a decision, right?
Yes.
I know there's exceptions, as always, but for most of us, it's just that decision to get up and get moving and deciding to have an active life. So what somebody who's starting out, what can they expect as they start to develop a program? They start moving. What are the good things that they can expect, and what are some of the challenges that they'll see, and how do they go through those?
Well, I appreciate you pointing out that, yes, the hardest step is getting off the couch and moving in the direction. And we see and hear that from many of our older adults who come into the program. And it's a brave step. And once they step in the direction of getting support and asking for help to get more fit, then what we do is we provide inspiration, we provide coaching and encouragement. When someone signs up for a class, our classes are small. We take only up to 10 people in a class. And so when someone doesn't show up, we're on the phone. Hey, how are you? What's going on? We missed you today.
Accountability. That's a big one, huh?
Yeah.
And so many, also what we hear often is that our participants really not only appreciate the accountability, they feel that they get good guidance and support. And there's also an aspect of the social support. Some of our older adults maybe don't have family, or they just don't get out. But we have some people that they come to exercise, and maybe they leave home and they come to exercise and then they go home. But what they find is friends and people who have common interests, and so we see a social health that happens also.
I think
great.
that's such an important part. I mean, just speaking personally, if I didn't have neighbors that met me in the dark in the mornings, there'd be many mornings that I'd turn off the alarm clock and go back to bed. And I think our games speaks exactly of that. I mean, 80% of our athletes return year after year to participate. And I think a good part of that reason is because of the friendships and the bonds that they make while they're participants at the games.
Yeah, that's what keeps me working out every single morning in my exercising. It's, when I do it on my own, it's definitely more sporadic. So
yeah,
I appreciate my friends that do the same. One of the interesting things that you shared with us, Hannah, is that you're a lifelong meditator. So how has that helped you? And, physical health and inner health are, both very important. But I was hoping you could share with us just a little bit, because that seems very unique, but it's also very important.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. I call it we're having a conversation about fitness, physical fitness. And one of the things that I learned from my back injury is the physician that I saw said that I really should have back surgery at that time. And in my early 20s, I just wasn't ready for that. And so I asked about alternatives. And he said, try laying in bed for a month and don't do anything and see if it gets better.
Was that even possible for a personality like yours?
Well, it was the most challenging thing I had ever done in my life. I had always moved. And so it really was a gift in the sense that I realized I was a little out of balance. Because if I wasn't moving, if I wasn't being a physical being, I actually didn't quite know who I was. And so the gift out of the injury was people recommending, do you know how to visualize? Do you know how to relax? Do you know how to meditate? And those were all new concepts to me. And it was the beginning of learning how to go within. And I realized that there were benefits to learning how to relax, learning how to meditate, learning how to calm myself. And I've been learning about that, practicing, and even went back to school, got a second master's degree in consciousness studies, which is world religions, psychology, and philosophy.
Wow.
That seems like the total approach, the full package of equalization that we all need, doesn't it?
Yeah. Having a balanced life helps, having that social and emotional and physical health, and that's awesome. So I was hoping you could tell us a story, Hannah, about somebody that you've helped in the clinic here, that you've been able to help improve their life. Maybe tell us a little bit about what they went through and your experience with them.
There are many people. As you're asking that question, I'm flipping through the many stories and the many experiences. A most recent one that comes to my mind was a gentleman who I did an assessment on, and during that assessment is when I learn about what are the current health challenges. And so he had been very inactive for the past year. Prior to that, he was, I want to say he probably is in his late 60s or early 70s. He had been very active his whole life. He was a motorcycle rider, and he got in a motorcycle accident and crushed his foot, and that affected his leg. And then he also had a shoulder injury. So he had been very sedentary in the healing process, and got very inactive, and he knew he needed to do something. And so when he came to us, it was the beginning of a shift. And so I set him up on an exercise program that was appropriate for the injuries that he was dealing with. And over the last 3 months, he transformed. He was feeling better. He had more energy. He was feeling muscles that he hadn't felt in a long time. He was able to do more. And he just would be praising, being so appreciative of the support and the encouragement. And he really felt like he got his life back.
Wow.
That's great. That's a really positive part about your job, I'm sure, to see gains like that and experience people changing their lives and being a part of that. That's neat.
That is awesome. If you're just joining us, this is the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life, and we have Hannah Rothlund with us from the Intermountain Live Well Center. And Hannah, I'd like to know what advice you have. We talk a lot about people finding activity and getting off the couch and living an active life. But what about those people who are already active, our top athletes, those people who are getting up every day and exercising? What advice can you give them? What can you do to help them be stronger?
Well, we do see many athletes at the Live Well Center. We have some more extensive assessment that we can do with them. Part of our assessment process is, again, that I mentioned earlier, understanding body composition, which is basically how much body fat in relationship to how much muscle, or what we call fat-free weight. And then with working with athletes also on their resting metabolic rate and then their cardiovascular fitness. And so what we often do with our athletes, and we have many clients that are part of the games, once we understand where they are in strength and fitness level, then we can design a program to take them to that next level. What we're finding with older adults, one of the most important things is strength, muscular strength, power, and endurance. And strength training is a really big component for joint stability and metabolism and energy. And so we give guidance regarding their strength training often, flexibility, and can design cardiovascular endurance and support them, whether they're biking or playing pickleball or doing the triathlon. We can take them to that next level. But our assessment process allows us to know what level they're at, and then we can give direction for the next level.
And I really thought that was interesting when I went through the test. Knowledge is power, and definitely I became aware of some things that I'd like to improve upon. So maybe speak for a minute about the type, now that the assessment program for me is done. I know that you have classes. Do you also do personal training, or, I kind of come from an exercise background, so I've made my goals and I know what I want to work on, but what's your recommendation for, one, what you offer, and two, when you'd like to see clients come back and reassess?
Well, what we offer on-site classes Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning to 7 at night, and we have fitness equipment and exercise balls and bands and everything that one would need to work on their personal fitness on site. We also do offer personal fitness training for individuals who want a specific program, maybe a home program, or specific conditioning for their sport. And and we also, one of our colleagues goes on site and is working with a business group and helping their business group. So whether someone wants to be in a class or personal training, we offer that either on site or we also go off site to help people. Usually we have people come to the center, and we give them the program, and then they either go back to the gym and work there or at home.
Great options. And then, how often do you think an assessment is necessary?
Usually we recommend, depending on the person and what their goals are, usually reassessing in 6 months to a year. if we want true change to take place, it takes 3 to 6 months for people to get on that new program and get moving in the direction that they want to go.
So definitely think of it as like your yearly wellness physician checkup or something like that, right? I think that's a good tool or a good idea to keep in mind to take care of that.
Yes, I think a yearly assessment to measure progress and the numbers do say a lot. Sometimes we can think we're doing better, and the numbers really are a reality check.
And prevention is the key to what we see in all of our athletes, because they are just defying the odds and doing amazing things that I'm just inspired by. So certainly they've got this down, and they've probably worked with Hannah or someone like her, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's prevention sometimes it's harder to bite the bullet right now and start implementing preventative measures if you don't have to. It's a lot easier to start an exercise program when you've got a cast on and your doctor says you need to exercise, you're going to die, something of that nature. But it's so much better to just start one now when you can on your own accord and just have a better life and
just do it consistently over time. Absolutely.
Well, we are to the tail end of our show today.
Goes
Hannah,
by quick.
I know, it goes by super quick. Hannah, it's been a pleasure having you on today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
If you could give us one last piece of advice as a professional kinesiologist, what would it be?
Well, I think based on what you were saying, one thing that I hear most often at the Live Well Center is many of our adults say, I wish I would have started this sooner. And so my advice is wherever you are, wherever someone is, it's not too late to start. And I say you're making an investment in your health bank account, and the dividends and interest are great.
Oh, she's speaking
awesome.
Your language.
That is my language. It's the language of money. If your retirement plans include just money, you might want to augment that and add a little health in there, because retirement's more than just having the funds to survive, but
you want to
having
enjoy
the health
it.
to live it. Yep.
Yeah, having the health to live it. That's good.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much, Michelle.
It's been fun.
Thank you, Hannah. It's it has been fun. The time does go very, very fast. You can join us every week at the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life, and on the radio, AM KZNU 1450, and on our podcast on our website at www.seniorgames.net. So we hope you've enjoyed the show, and our quote as we leave today is, "That which we persist in doing becomes easier to do, not that the nature of the thing has changed, but that our power has to do